Hey, what's happening, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about Tony Ferguson versus Beneil Dariush. This fight's being targeted for UFC 262. I actually like this fight for Tony, and I like this fight for Beneil. We get to see where Tony's at exactly, fighting a lower tier top 10 guy, and we get to see if Beneil can beat the elites and how he fares against a former interim champ. Alright guys, so let's not waste any more time and get into this fight. So first, let's start with Tony Ferguson, one of the greatest lightweights of all time, no question about that. In my opinion, one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. Tony's 37 right now. He stands at 6 feet tall. He has a 76.5 inch reach. Tony's sporting a mixed martial arts record of 25 wins, 5 losses, 12 knockout wins, 8 submission wins. Very impressive record. Tony was on an insane win streak before losing pretty badly to Justin Gaethje. 12 fight win streak in the lightweight division. Incredible, stellar. But Gaethje stopped that momentum in a big way. Pretty one-sided fight. Some of that was a style matchup. Some of that was bad game planning. And of course, maximum credit to Justin Gaethje. He's just that good and dangerous. After the Gaethje loss, in Tony's last fight, he lost against Charles Oliveira. Unanimous decision loss. Dominant win for Oliveira. Tony was pretty much beaten every aspect of the fight, got handled and controlled on the ground. Really surprising to see because Tony's so crafty on the ground, and we've never seen that happen to Tony before. Oliveira is that good, but is Tony slowing down a bit? Talking about Tony's skill set at his absolute peak, he's a buzzsaw on the feet, throws everything in the kitchen sink at you, punches, kicks, knees, elbows, very unorthodox striking, which throws guys off. Tony's style on the feet is pretty damn effective. He tends to leave himself open a bit, but he relies on his chin. He has a lot of confidence in his ability to take a shot and deliver his own with those heavy fists. On the ground, barring that Oliveira performance, Tony's very good. Super crafty, like I said, tricky, wily, unorthodox grappling. His specialty is the Darce choke. He can hit that choke at different angles, different positions. I would say that's his signature submission. Good luck shooting in on Tony and leaving that neck exposed. Granite chin, like I touched on. One of the toughest to ever do it. Another major skill set of Tony, or attribute, is his cardio. Some of the best in the game. Kinda sets the bar. I can't say I've ever seen Tony Ferguson not push the pace or be tired. And cardio is without a doubt a weapon. That's another way he wins fights. He just breaks guys. Okay, moving on to Beneil Dariush. Beneil, really sick Muay Thai and top-notch Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling. He's medaled in the World Jiu-Jitsu Championships and the World No-Gis many times, securing gold medals, silvers, bronze medals. So to say he's competent on the ground is an understatement. Under the tutelage of Rafael Cordeiro, again, that Muay Thai, pretty nasty. He has brutal leg kicks, really hard kicks to the body. He's not really a volume striker. He does apply a lot of pressure, but he fights at a certain pace, picks and times his shots, and lands hard 1-2s. Something else to look out for on the feet, he has a really good overhand left counter. Beneil's 5'10", 72 inch reach. Right now he's kind of on a tear. 6 fight win streak. Very impressive. Alright guys, so the matchup. How could this fight possibly play out between present day Tony Ferguson and Beneil Dariush? Man guys, I don't know. This is one of those question mark fights because there's certain variables that we're not too sure about or we just don't know. Is Tony actually truly slowing down, or has he just dropped fights to absolute killers? And it could be a situation where both statements are true. Yes, Charles Oliveira is a monster. Yes, Justin Gaethje is a killer. But Tony at his absolute best, did we see that version of Ferguson against those two guys? Tough to say. Now, if we see Ferguson drop this fight to Beneil Dariush, you can get a better gauge that yes, Tony might be slipping. Because no disrespect to Beneil, he's number 9 in the UFC lightweight rankings. It is a fairly big step down for Tony, but a great opportunity for Beneil, because even a diminished Ferguson is still an insane threat and tough fight. And if Beneil could shine, if Beneil could be dominant in this fight, it's going to say a lot about him as well. I think Tony has shown he's susceptible to leg kicks. Justin Gaethje kind of exposed that. That's one of Beneil's specialties. And I'm sure he has watch tape on that fight. And he's definitely going to exploit Tony's lacking defense to leg kicks. So that's going to be a big weapon on the feet. Tony also is willing to take shots, to give some, pretty much wears guys down with volume. Beneil also, probably studying that Gaethje fight, is going to try to take advantage of that also. Because it seems like if you do big damage to Tony early on, it's going to pay dividends later on in the fight. And what good is amazing cardio if you're all kinds of banged up? The ground is tough to say. Ferguson is pretty damn good on the ground. He's tricky. He can pretty much catch anybody if they're not careful with him. But Beneil's a really good grappler. So I believe the ground's going to be pretty much a wash. And don't be surprised if Beneil actually gets the better of the grappling and controls Tony. Tony's best bet, in my opinion, where he should be more dominant, if he comes in at his best, is probably going to be the stand-up. Beneil likes to fight at a certain pace. If Tony could put the pressure on him, make him uncomfortable, make him fight at a pace he's not accustomed to, not engage in a shot-for-shot, one strike or two at a time fight, but again, push Beneil. Volume, but at the same time, try not to get too damaged and banged up like he did in the Gaethje fight early on, because it really hurt him as the fight went on. He was so beat up that he couldn't really turn it up in the later rounds, and he was just worn out. I know right now Freddie Roach is working with Ferguson. He's at Wildcard Gym. Good for him. I'm sure it's going to help his stand-up. Freddie Roach is going to work on that defense, but Freddie Roach is a boxing trainer. Big difference between pure boxing and mixed martial arts striking. Freddie Roach isn't going to help him at all with those leg kicks and body kicks from Beneil. I don't know, guys. In some respects, I think the puzzle of Tony Ferguson is kind of figured out. On top of that, he possibly might be slowing down. And it almost sounds crazy for me to say this, but I'm actually leaning towards Beneil. I think the leg kicks are going to make a huge difference on the feet. Beneil's body kicks. He has power in his shots. And looking at Tony training, looking at him in his last fights, he looks like he lost speed, almost like he aged a little bit overnight. Prime Tony at his very best, I'm going to have to go with Tony Ferguson. But present day Tony, leaning towards Beneil. I think he's going to neutralize Tony on the ground if the fight goes there. And I think in a stand-up battle, if Tony comes in a little flat-footed, a little bit slower as he's looked, doesn't get that head off or center line, no head movement, I think Beneil's going to light him up. And not to sound redundant, big key factor on the feet are going to be those leg kicks for Beneil. But anyway, guys, you let me know in the comment section who you think takes this fight, Beneil Dariush or Tony El Cucuy Ferguson. Hard is with Tony, but I think Beneil's going to win. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it and this is your first time at the channel, consider hitting that sub button. Like and share helps the channel grow. Can't wait to read your thoughts. And until the next segment, my friends, you all take care.